There's a countdown.
Welcome to another episode of She Who Heals. I'm so excited, you guys. I have Healers Avenue Coaching. What a very clever handle, by the way. I love that. I'm actually interested why you decided Healers Avenue Coaching. I have an incredible healer with me here, and I'll let him introduce himself to you.
Thank you for having me. Absolutely amazing to connect with you. So thank you so much for the opportunity for me to reach out to you and your audience, and to my audience also. And hopefully we can impact some ears and some lives today.
You guys, energy work is so real. Literally, as we were taking our 3 breaths together before I clicked record, I was literally just feeling, oh my God, we're about to talk about things, and we're literally creating a space. And just in our creations, it's to really help impact lives and bring up conversations and bring up self-reflection in a way that's so attainable and also effective when it comes to being more healed and helping yourself so you can be such a strong partner for others, whether it's in friendships, partners in like sibling relationships, partnerships, intimate. So
Definitely.
That's so funny you say that about making impact.
Definitely.
So can you share with us, what is your name? Who are you?
My name is Amit, and I'm based here in London, sunny old London, although today it is torrential rain. It's typical English weather. We've had about a week and a half of glorious sunshine, and I think it's hitting around, you guys do it in Fahrenheit, so I think it was working out to around 80, 85 Fahrenheit. So for us, I mean, people start stripping off, when it gets to 70, and then, they're walking down the street in their sandals and bikinis and all sorts. And me, I'm still wrapped up, but it's been a glorious week. But the heavens are opened, and I just thought to myself, oh man, but at the same time, I thought at least the grass is getting watered. I've got all these new flowers and baskets. I thought at least they're getting a watering, because I think over the last week, they took a bit of a hammering by the old sunshine. So it's good to cool down and relax. So but yeah, it's been a beautiful week, and I have been on this journey. I have a channel called Healers Avenue, and I decided to get out there after experiencing somewhat of a toxic marriage and quite a disruptive divorce, and it sort of left me lost. But as the process went on, as my healing journey began, and I looked to other healers, I thought to myself, there are people out there that need this, on my own doorstep, in my own community, in my own circle of friends and family. So, what have I got to lose? And the support that I've received has been immense, and it's just given me the drive to keep going and keep moving forward.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. So, okay, when you just shared with me that you knew that you needed to get this work out there, how did you know that? How do you know that people need your work? How do you know that people need to hear your story?
Because there were so many males that were experiencing the same, or had experienced the same, or were potentially on the road to that same journey I'd experienced. And a lot of them kept the stories within themselves. They didn't want to be vocal about it. They didn't want to share emotion. And you could see the pain in their face. You could hear the pain in their voices, And I thought there's nothing to be embarrassed about. And I've really put myself out there on the line. I think I've come from a background where, guys from the communities that I've come from don't really do what I'm doing. And I thought that's what makes it incredibly unique. I'm either going to receive great feedback from it, or I'm going to receive not so great feedback. And thankfully, I've been able to tap in and to share my experience, and to let people know that it's okay. And now, although I say, I wanted to help guys out, I'm on a journey to help women as well, and I've come across a lot of coaches where women have specifically said, helping empower women, helping women do this, or guys that saying helping men achieve this. And I'm thinking, I want to help anyone and everyone I can. I have a great career outside of this. This is just something that I wanted to do. I felt I needed to give back. I felt that it was essential to my healing. Even if it was just one person that I helped, if it was just one person that I reached out to, and that was it. So that's kind of where it started for me.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all you just shared right now. And being a woman too, if you're a listener of my podcast, and oh my gosh, that is the cutest cat.
Say hello to the world. It's Kiki.
Kiki.
Kiki, you love me. Come on, Kiki, go on, sing a song. See, this is the love of my
Well,
life. This is all I need right now. This is my partner right now. So yeah, so it's amazing, and that's another thing I'll share in regards to healing and having an animal. Is I've never had a cat or a dog. I've had fish, I've had hamsters, but having this cat was absolutely amazing. And it's almost as if they sense how you're feeling, and they're great companions. So she doesn't understand half of what I say. I mean, but it feels as though she senses something. And it's an incredibly she's an incredible gift. That's all I can say.
amen. I do feel that animals understand energy, right? And as humans, I think that sometimes we can say things with our emotions and say things from a place of hurt and pain. And I'm speaking for myself. Like I've been triggered and my words have responded instead of
Mm.
my energy responding, right? And I think
Mhm.
with animals, it can be so healing because they love you unconditionally. They
Yes.
do feel the energy that you give, right? Like I see my dog, and if I'm having a day, she's having a day. Like I can feel she's feeling my
Mhm.
anxiety or she's feeling my joy. Yeah, that's so beautiful that you mentioned that because that's interesting. Like a lot of guys that I've met, like yeah, they don't really have animals or they don't want that responsibility. So what shifted for you to have a cat?
It was quite funny. My ex partner and I, we lived together for a period of time, and we decided to get this cat together. Although we went our own ways, and we're incredibly good friends still, and everything is amicable, which is amazing. She couldn't take the cat with her. Kiki ended up staying with me, and the day that my ex left, I kind of looked at Kiki. Kiki kind of looked at me. We were like, it looks like we got each other now. So she was a gift, and the way I see it, there's always something beautiful to attain from something that never worked out. It doesn't matter how positive it was or how negative it was. There's always something we can learn from those journeys. There's always something beautiful we can take from it. And Kiki is a beautiful thing that I could take from my past relationship.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And something you mentioned as you were sharing about why you share your healing journey and how you know that people do need to hear it because one, it's going to help you by sharing your story, which I can definitely relate to. You mentioned that the work you're doing is also focused on women. And can I just share with you from a woman's
Of course.
perspective like
Of course.
thank thank you. Thank you because when and I don't want to put the responsibility on men. Oh, we're going to go into it. I don't want to put the responsibility on men. I have noticed that when I'm not healed, I'm attracting that type of energy of
Mm.
those men who aren't healed as well. And
Mm.
the fact that, and I'm like, this has just been like generational, like a lot of men, and even my family that I was raised around, there was so much shame and emotion. There was so much shame in making mistake where it was like, hard for people to forgive themselves or to own up to their mistakes because there was just
Mm.
this masculine energy of having to be perfect and have it all
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
So to see that you're working with men and you're wanting to help them out in their own journey and relating to them because you're a man yourself, right? Like I can be a
Mm.
woman just saying like go jump on the healing journey, jump on the healing journey, but I've never even worked with a man healer. I resonate and connect with women female healers
Of
because
course.
I really believe that women go through certain experiences very different from men, right? And thank you, like working with every man that you are working with now and you're going to be working with, you're just creating this ripple effect. Those men are going to be able to be ready for their next partner and they're going to
Of
be ready
course.
for that relationship.
Of
And
course.
I truly believe like healed you can be healing and still in love because I do
Of
believe
course.
that we don't have to be completely healed to find love. Like that's not possible.
Mm.
I think we're
Mm.
always
No.
healing. And you've mentioned this a little bit, so we're probably going to go into it if you're
Sure.
ready to.
Of course.
How did your past relationship catapult you into your healing journey?
When I was married, so this was before my former relationship, I was married, and we ended the relationship in 2017. It was a joyous relationship on many occasions. But unfortunately, and this is something that I'm going to be discussing quite heavily at some stage, and it's taken me a little bit of time to acknowledge and to perhaps get out there because it is quite a sensitive subject, and that's around PMDD, premenstrual dysphoric disorder. And that's something that my ex-wife suffered from. there's not much awareness around it. When I've spoken to people and I've said, do you know what PMDD is? They're like, no, I've never heard of it. So if we say, it's an aggressive form of PMS, to say the least, to say in the lightest of terms, that's what it was. So, you have this individual who is capable of love, who's capable of kindness, who's capable of giving. When the time comes and the condition sort of takes over, it's a completely different person. It can quite easily become your worst enemy, and this is something that you deal with every single month. And then it was very painful to see my ex-partner go through it. It wasn't all about me. Oh, this is how you're treating me. This is what you say to me. It was, how could we help her? How could I help her? And essentially, as time went on, there's only so much that I could take. And I always believe that healing starts from within. And unfortunately, there wasn't that acknowledgement from her at that point, and, that I could see that we weren't going to be moving forward. So, I was living in a relationship where on social media, it was portrayed to be a beautiful relationship, a happy relationship, when, deep down, there was suffering, there was pain, there was neglect. My journey, having ended the relationship in 2017, it was a painful one. It was an incredibly painful one. And I guess I went on to seek clarification, and my healing started when I spoke to a clairvoyant, who was my healer, and undertook several solo trips to find space. And sometimes traveling alone isn't the greatest thing ever. Sometimes it's painful, sometimes it's isolation, sometimes being alone with dark thoughts. But that's how healing starts. I felt that I had to acknowledge all these traumas and feelings. And then obviously moving forward, the divorce began, and I just left it, all in the hands of my lawyers. And, there was nothing I could do. But, I had to carry myself in such a way that it wouldn't affect me. I didn't want to wake up every day with hesitation. I didn't want to wake up every day with anger and resentment and pain anymore. The journey with my ex-wife had finished. It was a matter of time, and I turned to many healers that I found online, and you just type in divorce in YouTube or divorce advice for men. It's not something that I wanted to speak to my friends about. It's not something I want to speak to my parents or my brother about. Your family and your friends already are on this journey with you, and they hate seeing you in pain as much as it is. So I didn't really want to inflict too much on them. So that's when I began to start my own journey and dive into the world of healers. I'm grateful and I'm thankful for the people that I have come across on my journeys. I am thankful for the people that I've come across on YouTube. All of that inspiration has given me the drive to want to get out there and help people, not men, not women, people. We all feel emotion, we all feel pain, we all feel love. And why I wanted to speak to men first and foremost was because they suppress feelings, and the rate of suicide amongst men in the UK is one of the highest. So it's incredibly important to reach out to these people. And I feel that's my journey now, and that's to help people. So that's where it's at.
Can I ask you what your why was? Why did you want to learn about divorce and men? Why did you want to take solo trips? Why did you want to give yourself space? What was your why in all of this?
So I wasn't too sure, to be honest with you, Alyssa, why I wanted to go on solo trips. But all I knew was I felt suffocated. I had the support of amazing friends, family and colleagues at work. I had a great support network. However, I felt this huge weight on my shoulders, and I just literally jumped on a plane and I hopped off to Thailand, and I spent a week in Phuket. And I remember the first night I got there and I thought, what the hell am I doing here? What am I doing? I was well out of my comfort zone. I was out of my comfort zone. I thought maybe I'll book a flight home the next day. Maybe this wasn't such a good idea. But then I thought, no, you got to stick this out. You have to stick this out now, and it was such a great release, and that was in December 2017. And literally 5 months later, I embarked on a 1-month journey to Australia and Thailand on my own. Like I said before, not all traveling is supposed to be. It was such a release to sit there and watch sunsets and sunrises, and just to watch people go about their business and have no one interrupt, to have no one judge. For me to do things I've always wanted to do, which might have been perceived in my group of friends or my circle of friends as a bit strange, which was to read books on the beach, to watch Tony Robbins videos on YouTube whilst I was sat on a beach. I wasn't partying each and every single day. Don't get me wrong. I did, enjoy the nightlife and stuff every now and again, but that wasn't the main purpose of this trip. So that's why I did that. And that actually that gave me so much confidence when I returned. I thought to myself, right, this divorce is going to be one hell of a journey now. Now, divorce can be an amicable experience between two people. It can be quite a kind-hearted experience between two people who are no longer in love and just want to part ways amicably. And, if there's families involved, or it can be quite the nightmare. But one thing I say to people is that divorce is a formal way of two people parting ways. Spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically, the bond had already gone. Don't fear the divorce. The divorce is a headache. Don't get me wrong. It involves lots of numbers. It involves lots of money and rerouting past traumas and issues. However, it's part of the process. And I want people to understand that it's okay. It's a process that's not going to last forever. It may last a year. It may last 2 years, but I can assure you it will be done. It will be finished and you will be okay. You will move on. You will succeed. You will find love again. But most importantly, you will find yourself again. Love and companionship is something we as humans, especially as men, we crave and we adore. The company of a woman, the love of a woman, the touch of a woman. But we need to be safe and we need to be confident within ourselves to do that. And only by addressing issues and traumas and being wholesome and letting go of anything that was holding you back, letting go of mistakes. We all make mistakes. I said in one of my videos, we'll always make mistakes. Doesn't matter how big or small, but we have to learn to forgive ourselves. We have to learn to accept that it's okay to move forward, and I'm here to tell people that, it will be okay. And I'll be honest with you, Alyssa, like there were many times where I would drink excessively. Dark thoughts. Let's just say that I experienced incredibly dark thoughts, thinking, who have I failed? I've failed at my marriage. I've failed my ex. I failed my family. I failed my friends. Will I ever love again? Is this the person that I'm portrayed to be? And toxic and dysfunctional relationships, especially with narcissists, they make you believe that you are the root cause, each and everything. Narcissists will never take responsibility for any actions.
Mm-hmm.
You very rarely will you hear a narcissist say, I'm sorry, unless there's an intention behind it. To be wholesome, to be wholeheartedly sorry is something, you have to escape these dark thoughts, and avoiding things like alcohol and other toxic habits and toxic thoughts of, perhaps, is this the life I want to live anymore? You will go through those sometimes, and I hope people don't, and this is why I'm here. This is why I'm here. I'm not asking for money. I'm not asking for anything. I'm saying if there's a problem, you DM me. If you're feeling like crap, if you're feeling whatever it is, this is why I'm on my journey, because I felt it and it's a horrible feeling.
Amen. Even as a healer who's helping guide healers and working on her own healing and living and who has come so far, like I even go in those dark thoughts. I've went backwards and over, not binge drink, but I've gone backwards and excessively drank even on my healing journey. Like none of us are perfect ever. No. We're going to make mistakes.
Of course.
But what I'd love to ask you is, where did you find the strength to face your past traumas, to face your mistakes? Because from what I've experienced with the men in my life, and I don't want to have you ever feel like you're speaking for all men, because obviously that's not possible. But from your perspective, where did you find the strength to tap into those uncomfortable, painful memories of yours, your traumas of yours? Where did you find the strength to go through that pain of facing what has happened to you and what you've experienced? And overcome as well this feeling of possibly being embarrassed of what's most likely have happened. How did you find the strength to go through all of that?
It was incredibly difficult, Alyssa, and it was very simple though. But it was a long process, but it was a simple process. And I want to share this with you. I went onto YouTube. I found these videos by Law of Attraction. Thousands of these videos. Listen to this when you first wake up. If you've made mistakes, there is content out there. And I thought, I wouldn't ever watch anything like this. Usually it's my favorite hip hop playlist in the morning or my R&B playlist in the morning. And people are making this content for a reason. They're making it to touch souls. They're making it to help people find purpose. They're making it people to find strength. And I would watch these videos. I would listen to these videos when I was in the car. I'd listen to it on my headphones, or I'd listen to it on the stereo. When I was at work, you pretend you listen to music, but I was addicted to these motivational videos that address pain, that address trauma, and that gave me the strength. Also, I took up meditating. I was really bad at it. I was so bad at meditating, I'll be honest with you. my attention span lasted for probably a few minutes, and that was my meditating session done. But in all essence, sometimes that's how you just need to start, maybe with a few breaths, even if it lasts 10 seconds. So meditation was a huge thing for me. Also, I began reading a lot of self-care books. So I had to adjust and change my lifestyle significantly from quite a loud, brash one. I had to change, and then the change involved a more peaceful, a more stabilized lifestyle, healthy eating, gyms, walking, listening to podcasts. I had to change my entire strategy. And that's essentially how it began. And still to this day, I mean, I could show you my bookshelf and it's full of self-care books, which I love. And my home, because this was a home that I shared with my ex-wife for a very short period of time, I redecorated the entire place. My space became a new space. It became a space of love. It became a space of warmth. It became a space of positivity. It became a space of spirituality. And now it's a journey that I've embraced. So imagine going to the gym for the first time and you don't know what you're doing. Your muscles are weak. Your mindset is weak in the sense that I don't want to stay here long. I can only work out 15, 20 minutes. But what happens is over time, you build that endurance, you build that drive, you build that hunger, you build those muscles. And that's exactly the same with building the mentality. And that's all that happened. I mean, I still drink. I still like to have a couple of beers. I still like once a month, we have a little party. We have a few drinks. I love my rum, don't get me wrong. For my healing journey to begin, I had to acknowledge and identify what was no longer feasible, that was no longer healthy, and that's how it all started, and it all began with me, and this is the thing. And when I have people text me or message me on Instagram, how do I do this? I share these videos, I share these books, I share these quotes, I share pictures from chapters that I'm reading, and it's a great help. It's an absolutely amazing help.
We're blessed to have you. I can literally relate so much to your story, because when I really catapulted into my healing journey, when I was like, I didn't go through divorce, but I was living with this partner, and the talk of marriage was coming up a lot. And the last thing I actually really heard from this person was, this is our year. This is our year. When I had left for the weekend, this man went in his deep, dark thoughts, and drinking was involved. And I've never shared this with anyone, actually, especially on the podcast. I only share this story with my private paid clients. But this person went through their deep, dark thoughts, and their response was through alcohol. And when you go into such a deep, dark place and you're alone, right? Because I was out of town, and it wasn't the first time I was out of town. It was just a really interesting time in this person's life and in my life as well. Infidelity happens. And when you're drinking so heavily and you're so deep in your insecurity, you're so deep in your failure, right? Like when you feel like you failed and you're drinking to just numb that, well, of course, it's just going to be destruction. So when I returned from that weekend, I left. I was like, this is just a boundary that has been completely crossed. But there was I spent so much time feeling like a failure. I spent so much time thinking I failed that relationship. I failed that person. When you're sharing your why and when you're sharing where you found that strength, for me, I had to realize that I did not fail. I did my best. There was so much I could learn from that.
Of course.
It was more about, who do I want to be? How do I want to respond? How do I want to grow? It takes so much time, and it does take the pains of going through whatever you're going through, your story, your experiences, because we all have them. And it's okay to maybe feel like you failed, but remembering that, first off, what does failure even mean, right? Like, so I can only imagine, because I've in my journey, I speak with those who don't know if they want to get a divorce because it feels like failure, right? Like, I've failed this marriage. I don't want to face failure. But it's actually a moment for you to just completely grow and evolve. And instead of thinking like, I don't want to fail, instead of feeling like you're failing a task, instead I had to decide how I wanted to grow from this experience. And by me focusing on myself, that partner and I, literally, there's no tie or connection at all. And I'm so happy for him. Like, I wish him nothing but the best. Literally, like I just pray wherever he's at, like, he's at peace, he's happy, he's being treated well, he's treating others well. Absolutely,
Well,
full-heartedly, fully believe in that. And then I'm also so happy. And I'm also in a new relationship. And is this new relationship slightly scary at times? Absolutely. Because
of
I
course.
still have that memory of me failing, I put in quotation marks, this journey of doing your work. And maybe you can even explain and share, but this journey of doing your work and overcoming one place and catapulting into this whole new version of yourself
Mm,
is amazing and it's great and it's to be celebrated, but it
mm.
doesn't mean your life's going to be completely
No,
perfect,
no, of course
right?
not.
Like, and I love that you mentioned social media and relationships because I see that so often. I see beautiful couples looking like tip top, and I'm like, wow, first off, photogenic.
Yeah.
And second, like just so happy and talking about all their success and all their wins and how da, 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 blah, 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 whatever. But I'm like, it takes
Mm.
so much work behind the scenes to really have such a healthy, loving, open, communicative
Definitely.
relationship,
Most definitely.
right? Like, especially if you
Most
came from a place of destruction to overcome. And most of us do. Most of us in this lifetime have come from that because we really
definitely.
are here to take on big roles and responsibilities like you are taking on right now. You wouldn't have gotten here most likely without that
No.
big experience of darkness. So what are you now offering? What has this led you to create?
I recently embarked on a journey and I completed the NLP practitioner course. Yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you so much. And it was absolutely awesome. And it was either between that and a coaching course. The coaching gets you from A to Z, that's cool. But with the NLP, we're addressing traumas, we're addressing issues, and we're going to rectify them. We're going to change your mindset, and then we're going to propel you forward. I mean, I've been to therapy.
Absolutely.
I enjoy therapy. And that's another thing I've got to mention. As a male, I went to therapy. As a male, I embrace therapy. As a male, I promote therapy. It's an incredibly healthy thing to do. And I love my therapist. She's an
I
absolutely
agree.
amazing woman. Essentially, she's a healer. A therapist is
Yeah.
a healer.
Can
So,
you share with the audience what NLP is in case they may not know?
Sure. So it's neuro-linguistic programming. And to be honest with you, it's so funny because one of my coaches, I had a coach, and she said to me, Amit, you should do NLP. And I was like, what the hell is NLP? And she goes like, it's like talking therapy is how she described it. I literally did 3 months of it and graduated a couple of weeks ago. And I still said to the instructor, I said, I think I'm still trying to figure out the world of NLP. And you know what the thing is? Even if I never get to practice NLP on someone or on a client or anyone that comes to me, it was a journey that satisfied me, that opened my eyes, and it was essentially a part of my healing. I was addressing my traumas, I was addressing my thoughts, I was addressing, well, why do I behave like that? Why is my response like that? And it all links back to an incident that would have happened at your past at some stage, whether you were a child, whether you were a teenager, whether you're a young adult. Things that happened in our past influence our decisions, our thought process, and our actions today.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really happy that I took the NLP route because it allows me to help people. And I'm not going to say clients, I'm going to say people. It allows me
Yeah.
to help people on a deeper level. And before, I think my mindset is completely changed now. And, I'm going to be 39 next month. And I feel like I have been given this new chance, this new opportunity, and it's never too late. We can find love in our 40s. We can find our ideal career in our 50s. There's no timeline to this. Our journeys are going to be highs and lows. Embrace it, love it, learn from it. And that's exactly what's going to happen. And that's what's going to happen with my clients or my people, whatever we want to call them. It's exactly what's going to happen.
I love that. I love that. And NLP, I've worked with other practitioners who are NLP certified, and it's such a powerful, powerful tool. So I'm really impressed and also not too shocked, or what's the word I'm looking for? Not impressed. It's okay. I'm not surprised. I like that word better than shocked.
Surprise is a good
Surprise just
word.
feels better. Yeah, it just feels
Yeah.
exciting. So I'm not surprised that you chose that because you're a healer. You're like, I need to put a healing tool under my belt. So thank you to your
Most
healer
definitely.
for guiding you. What has been your experience? Have you actually started coaching or practicing with others? What's been your experience?
I have only a handful of people that I'm helping, and I find that the more content I'm putting out there and the more open I'm becoming. So
Yes.
I'm putting more videos of myself, and I hated putting videos of myself on Instagram or pictures of myself, especially on this page. I have a personal page which shows party Amit, family Amit, work Amit, but the Healers Avenue page was dedicated solely to healing and recovery and a life of wellness. and well-being, and it's incredibly satisfactory, and that we can have these conversations, and the more content that I'm beginning to put out and the more that I'm beginning to open up, I think that people are seeing how vulnerable I am or how open I am, and you know what, it's okay to talk. Here we've got this guy who's being honest, who's putting it out there. I'm not after fame. I'm not after likes. I'm not after thousands of followers. I'm happy with the number of followers that I got on there. If it resonates with you, stay. If it doesn't resonate with you, I wish you a good day, and you can remove me. So the fact that it's allowing me to be more open, it's allowing me to be more of who I want to be and who I am. In that sense, I can have these open conversations with people who are feeling vulnerable, people who are feeling lost. That's pretty much where that is, and I'm happy, that I'm out there and I'm still learning, and NLP is not going to be something that's finished. Although I just graduated, it's something that I have to continue studying. Same thing with self-care and well-being and relationships. I'm still studying and using my experiences, and for me to build a bigger tool bag, as you said before, build my toolkit and help the best I possibly can. Because people have it within themselves. I'm just helping them dig it out. People have it within themselves, in the pit of their stomachs, in the back of their minds, in the bottom of their hearts. People have what it takes to overcome pain, to find joy, to find happiness, to find strength. I can promise you that. My purpose here is to help people unfold and find that.
Please add to this if anything else comes up. We need each other, right? Like,
For sure.
You were activated into your journey because of a relationship that involved another person. Mm-hmm. You realized and had perspective shifts, especially when you started with your YouTube videos, learning from others. And now you are sharing more of your story and feeling that sense of satisfaction, feeling that sense of purpose, which makes you an even greater, grander man, right? So when you feel like you have your purpose and you find that partner and you decide to do whatever you do in life, you're fulfilled. You're not looking for anyone else for purpose because you're finding it.
Of course.
So why do we need to work with healers? Why do we need to hire our therapists, hire our coaches, hire our healers? Well, one, for me, it's perspective shifts. We are helping others shift perspectives. We're not telling them what they need to believe in, but we're giving them another perspective. And when you get another perspective, you get to check in with your own body. How does that perspective now feel? Because if it feels a lot better than the perspective I was having, I'm going to choose that better one.
Definitely.
The second reason I want people to understand why we need to hire our healers, our coaches, our therapists, work with someone else is it's a reflection. You're able to finally have someone reflect back to you what you're sharing, what you're experiencing, what you're telling them, and maybe even what you're coming to the call with. I've had clients come to calls where they're so overwhelmed and they're so tired that it's causing them stress and it's causing them to have blockages. So like they're working nonstop and they're not fully creating because they're tired. And I've literally told them, hey, when was the last time you rested? Just rested. I don't have time. Okay. How would it feel if I told you right now, the only thing you need to be doing is to rest? Client broke down crying. That's what I needed to hear. I just need permission to rest. And I'm like, okay, I'll see you next week. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's for as humans, I think that we forget the power of working together, the power of deciding, hey, I do need help and that's okay. Or, hey, I am worthy of having someone on my team.
Definitely.
Do you currently have a healer you're working with?
I do. So I still have a coach. And like I said, I have a clairvoyant. You guys over the US know what a clairvoyant is, or is it just me being like silly?
No, clairvoyant, definitely. Clairvoyant. Okay, so there's 3 of them, right? Clairvoyant is someone who not hears words. That's clairvoyance.
My clairvoyant, she sort of doesn't tell me essentially what's happening in my future or my past, but one of those. Like
okay. She feels the energy. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So there's her. And she says to me when I called her the other day, why are you calling me back? She goes, because she said to me, she goes, you're on your journey now. And I said, because I miss the sound of your voice and you're my healer and I still want to connect. She's like my therapist, just not my therapist. My therapy finished in March, I believe. March or April? Yeah, I think it was April. March, April, yeah, it was around there. And I sent her a message saying, I actually missed having that conversation. And I said, look, it would be great to connect again, and we had like an evaluation, and you know, to hear from my therapist, you look a completely different person, you sound a completely different person, and this essentially is down to her input in my life. You know, people, and this is something else I said, people will pay a personal trainer in a gym to achieve goals of losing weight, putting on muscle size, or whatever else their goals may be. As healers, we are improving people's well-being, and well-being is so important. You know,
Absolutely.
we have the knowledge, we have the gift, we have the traumas, we have the experiences, and we have healed, and we are now sharing that with people, and we are out here to improve that.
Like I see you, and I know me, and I know what I've gone through, and I see and I hear you, and I feel your strength. We have the strength to get through that darkness, to get through it sober.
Most definitely.
Right? Like we have the strength to get through it sober. There were so many times where I was like, a bottle of wine would help all of this right now. A bottle of wine would numb every single thing, and I could just get through the days. The more days I can get through, the more days I'm closer away from my darkness. No.
Alcohol's a depressant, you know, and a lot of people don't acknowledge it. In the moment, and alcohol releases chemicals in our brain which make us feel good. People do drugs, and it does exactly the same thing. You wake up the next day after a bottle of Jack Daniels or after a six-pack, and you're feeling pretty shitty or down in the dumps. It starts bringing on those negative cycles again, you know, which is why our physiology is incredibly important as well. How we treat our bodies is incredibly important as well, because it contributes to our mental well-being. Why do you think people are out here saying, get to the gym, keep your body moving? It releases positive hormones. It's all part of the healing process.
And it's such a strong way to even practice your self-thought. Like I would get emotional because I couldn't pick up a 5-pound weight. And in my brain, I immediately thought, it's 5 pounds, get it together. But my physical body was like, I'm working towards that. I'm not going to force myself, because it was hard. But immediately I went to shaming myself. So when you're working out, you can then start to like, well, how do I even talk to myself doing this physical run? You may not be at your goal yet, but you're doing it, you know? And it's like, I don't think we really talk much about the way we talk about ourselves, the way we feel about ourselves. And it's such a breath of fresh air.
If you imagine that 5-pound weight as inner peace, let's label that 5-pound weight as inner peace, that dumbbell as inner peace. And you're starting your journey. Picking up that weight is heavy, and you think, damn, I'm never going to get this inner peace. I'm never going to find it. It all starts with a 1-pound weight. Sometimes your expectations have to be a lot lower, and you have to understand that this is a journey. We keep talking about journeys, and journeys don't last 5 days or 2 weeks or a month. Sometimes they can be a long time, but the beauty in a journey is that you wake up to a new day every single day, and you're continuously working on your purpose. You're continuously working on that inner peace, and you're continuously working on lifting those heavier weights to achieve goals, you know?
Yeah.
You can't just jump straight in it. We're not going to find peace and love and happiness and fulfillment overnight, especially if we're overcoming something quite traumatic or dysfunctional. And that's where we as healers come in, whether they're healers like you and I, Alyssa, whether it's therapists, whether it's clairvoyants, whether it's personal trainers. We're all here for a purpose, and we're here to serve. And that's how I see it. We're here to serve.
Thank you for serving and for being committed.
To Alyssa. No, it's absolutely amazing to connect with you. Absolutely amazing.
And that 5-pound weight really just reminds me too, like if that's how I was treating myself while I'm literally at a gym with a weight, like how am I facing getting on this episode and interviewing? How am I facing producing my next offer? That 1 pound, 5-pound weight can literally represent so many other areas of growth in our life. And if we're facing just that weight with frustration, shame, and we're doing that in other areas in our life too. So thank you for giving people a way to live and be again, and to find them, not even find themselves, but for being a space where people can feel safe. Because that's exactly how I feel with you. So I know if I feel safe around you and I feel seen and hopeful, that's what you're giving the world. And I just thank you for that. So are you currently offering services right now? I know you've mentioned multiple times in the episode that people can reach out to you DM. Is there anything else that people can do immediately if they're ready to receive your healing?
Well, basically, I've literally just put together an 8-week pack, which will consist of 8 coaching sessions with me on a weekly basis. And the reason why I say 8 weeks is because 4 weeks is far too short to discuss a journey. to discuss plans, to address any hidden traumas or anything,
Absolutely.
12 weeks may seem a little bit long to someone who's trying this for the first time, who's wanting to speak to a healer. They might be a little bit intimidated by 12 weeks. I don't know if I want to commit to that. So I'm going to put out there that I'm going to do an 8-week program for anyone who's interested. And my services are available to males, females, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, wherever you're at. Doesn't matter what color, religion, we're all in it together. So we're all good.
I love that. I love that so much. I thank you for being here. I do have, okay, we're almost there. I have 3 more questions to ask you. The first one is, what is your ancestral lineage? Where does your family and your generations come from?
So my family come from India, from a region called Punjab, which is in the northern part of India. My mum came here, I believe, when she was 11. My dad came here in his 20s when the arranged marriages back then were the thing, and they got married as complete strangers, and they are the nuttiest group of people and the happiest couple and the most fulfilling couple, to do it. And, you look at that old school love, you look at those, older generations and things that they put up with and put through and things that they weren't subjected through to, like, social media and so forth. And, people put in that work. That's where they're from. And we're all settled here, and I have family here. I have family in India. I haven't been back, but I think that's going to be my next solo trip, to go back. But I'm going to have to take a translator because I'm absolutely awful at Punjabi, and I'm going to have to say that. But yeah, I think that's the next thing I want to do. I've never taken a backpack before. Maybe I'll take a backpack. Join the backpack crew, I think.
Easy. Throw it on your back. There you go. You're good to go. And I mean, think every time I've traveled solo, the least amount I could carry with me, the better.
No, you're so right. Absolutely. Yeah. You're so right. No, if I can squeeze it into hand, if I can squeeze it into holdall, then cool. My last trip when I went to Thailand a couple years back, I remember I went out with so little, and you're living in vests and t-shirts. So I was buying them from these little stalls. And at the end of the trip, I'll give it to the guys working at the hotel. I'll give my water masks and whatnot to the kids on the beach, and it's cool. Like, it's good. You're giving back. So it's nice.
Exactly. So traveling solo, it's such a different type of living, and I think it's one of the greatest blessings.
It is.
Obviously, we don't have kids, and I know they say, like, that's your greatest blessing, and I'm sure it is. However, traveling solo, I think, was one of my greatest blessings, at least to this date.
It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. And people say to me, I mean, how can you travel alone? I'm like, how can you not? Break that fear. What are you fearing? Let's address fears. What is it you fear? Oh, something could happen. I said something could happen here on my doorstep. I could walk out my door and get mugged the minute I walk down the street. Anything can happen anywhere. You've got to break that mindset and be clever, be wary, and that's it, and enjoy that experience. We've only got one life to live. Give it a go. Give it a go.
Give it a go.
That's it.
So what is your vision you see for healers? Where do you see healers going? And what's the vision you see for us?
I see healers growing in abundance. I see healers such as us setting the platform. I see healers as us helping people break free and acknowledging issues. And I keep saying traumas, and this will enable people to say, you know what, I want to embrace this. I want to help heal. We're going to set the standards for this. So I can see healing becoming just as important as therapy or people using, personal trainers. I can see it becoming an incredibly popular and ever-growing branch of well-being. That's quite a good branch of well-being. I like that. I want to trademark that, I think.
I'm a witness to it.
There we go.
When you said that about healing and therapy, like I'm manifesting therapists recommending healers, right? Because I see so many healers saying, I'm for therapy. Like, healing does not supplement therapy, or it doesn't replace it. Like, keep doing your therapy. Of course, it's important. But I would love to see therapists now talking about healing. Go find your healer. Go find your healer. Go find your healer. Because when you really think about it, like, I've worked with many therapists, I've worked in the mental health field, there is a level of blockages that therapists have to go through, right? Because of legality reasons, HIPAA reasons. HIPAA is a term we use in the States. There's no competition in who's better. It's all about, what does humanity actually need? And it's not the full responsibility of a therapist to be completely in charge of someone's healing and their recovery, just like it's not a teacher's job to be completely in charge of a student learning. It takes community. It
Yeah.
takes parents. It
Yeah.
takes, right? It takes
Yeah.
counselors. If your therapist is listening, please DM me and ask me how you can continue to refer us, because
Yeah.
we're here doing the work and we're committed. We're so committed, and it's no competition.
Very well.
It's all unity. All right. You ready for my last question? I don't want to go. I'm like, let's just stay.
We can do a part 2 next time. It's not a problem. We can do a part 2 when the sun's shining here and I've got a bit of a better suntan. We can do it. No problem.
You know what? That's so funny. Before we got on this episode, I was like, this is not going to be our last conversation, because I see so much co-creation together, just so much that we're going to be doing together.
Most definitely.
Yeah. And it's good, right? We've talked about like our challenges, the obstacles, and then part 2, we can talk about, okay, now this is what's possible.
I'll interview you next time.
Absolutely. Let's do that. Please do.
Yes.
Let's get your, yes, let's do it. You know, it feels good there's so much energy shift that comes from being the interviewed versus interviewee. Anything you need, I'm here for you. Last question is, what is your future self telling you right now?
It's going to be okay. Instantly. First thought that came into my head. There's no preconceived notions. There's no expectations. Like I said before, I have a career that I love outside of this, and I will continue to put out content. I will continue to reach people without the fear of being judged, without the fear of being judged. Essentially, it's going to be good, and this is going to grow. And this is something I'm happy. This is a part of me now. This isn't something I like I said. I don't wake up to do this for the gram, as they call it. I wake up because it gives me peace and it brings me happiness, and I will continue to do this.
Absolutely.
And meet like-minded individuals like you, Alyssa. It's been absolutely beautiful.
Hey, I mean, stronger together. The more we have those believing in the mission, and not even believing in the mission, but living in it. Like I posted this a while ago, and I was like, I didn't choose a healer life. It chose me.
No, you're so right. You're so right. You're so right. I mean, I was a club DJ at a point, and I used to love wild parties and wild holidays, and people look at me like, Amit, what happened to you, man? Like, this is me now. You know what I mean? This is it. So it's a beautiful journey, and I'm glad to have people on board. And I'm not causing no harm here. We're all trying to influence lives and influence ourselves.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I appreciate you. Got so much love for you, even though we're across the pond.
100%. I've got so much love for you, and like I said, I feel so relaxed after this. At the beginning of this, I'll quickly say, I was saying to Alyssa, I was like, I was so nervous. I was telling my family, my friends, I'm going to be on a podcast. Damn, but it's been a beautiful session, and I really hope that it resonates with the listeners out there, and I hope it brings some clarity around what it is we do and what it is we aim to do.
And may I also share with the viewers and listeners, Amit, I remember when I asked you, you were like, wait, what? I asked you if you wanted to be on the episode. And I don't mean to put our private conversation in public to millions of viewers, but I'm going to.
So true.
I remember asking, you were like, why me? What? No.
Yeah.
So thank you. Thank you for trusting me. Thank you for trusting me. And thank you for accepting the challenge and allowing yourself to be seen and to taking up the space, because you truly are so powerful and so special to the world. And I feel honored to be a reflection of that, and to just continue to remind you of how powerful and special you are to our world. So
thank you. You too, Alyssa. Thank you. And you keep doing your thing, and you keep reaching out and finding healers, and addressing these people, and putting them out there and spreading the word of the love and the passion that we have and what it is we do, and that you do first and foremost. And I wish you nothing but the best on your journey. And let's get this done.
Let's get this done. All right, you guys, you know the drill. If you enjoyed our episode today, please leave us a review on YouTube, because Amit likes YouTube. We just found out. So please leave a review. Leave a review. Let us know how it was. Subscribe to our YouTube. And then what is your YouTube? It's Healers Avenue?
It's Healers Avenue. It's Healers Avenue. So, yeah.
Okay. Where did that name come from?
I was trying to figure out, man, what am I going to do? I didn't really fancy putting my name out there. What am I going to do? So I thought I was going to healer something. I was driving down the street and I saw something Avenue, and I was like, that looks good. Healers Avenue. So it's a road It's a journey. You're going to take a journey down Healers Avenue. That's how it's going to be. So that's where it came from.
That is so fucking cool.
I'm so surprised
Yes.
you swore. I'm so surprised you swore. I was trying to hold it down all this time. Otherwise, I would have been swearing throughout your podcast. But brilliant. I love it.
Wow, that is some mad discipline right there. I'm very impressed.
There we go. Ready for part 2, I tell you.
Ready for part 2, the explicit version, part 2.
The explicit version, the 18 rated version. That's it. Put the kids away. That's it.
Yeah, put the kids to bed. Get out whatever you need. Okay, anyways, we're about to gonna keep going. Okay, so subscribe, Healers Avenue, Alyssa K. Barrios, She Who Heals. Please follow Healers Avenue Coaching on Instagram. Follow along, Amit. Your journey's just beginning. Let's freaking keep doing this. It's been
Beautiful.
a pleasure.
I look forward to it next time. Good night, and God bless all your listeners. And I look forward to doing this again, Alyssa.